There's a fire inside you, a power you were born with, but it's been buried under distraction, distorted by culture, and dulled by addiction. This power is ancient, primal, and endlessly creative. It's your sexual energy, and it holds more potential than you've ever been told. This isn't about shame or guilt. It's about awareness, about recognizing the nuclear potential of your own biology and deciding to no longer waste it. Most men today live in cycles of indulgence. They scroll, they click, they release, and they repeat, each time a little weaker, each time a little more disconnected from their hunger to build, to rise, to conquer. But here's the truth they never taught you. That same energy you give away so easily, that's the fuel behind every empire, every invention, every bold move in history. Napoleon Hill saw it clearly. He studied the world's most successful men, hundreds of them over 2 decades, and discovered that every one of them had mastered this energy in some form. They didn't repress it. They didn't run from it. They redirected it. It's called transmutation, taking raw desire and turning it into something higher, something that serves your mission, not your momentary craving. Sexual energy is life force, it's creation itself. And when it's not used physically, it doesn't just vanish, it lingers. It simmers if you let it build and guide it with intention. It becomes focus, drive, clarity, purpose. This is not spiritual fluff. This is biology. Science backs it. When testosterone remains elevated, when that energy isn't drained carelessly, your system changes. You become more alert, more aggressive in pursuit of your goals, more magnetic to others, more commanding in your presence. But if it stays unchanneled, it turns inward into anxiety, frustration, distraction, or even addiction. The difference? Direction. When that surge rises, you can either throw it away, or you can alchemize it. You can transmute it into something real, a stronger body, a growing business, a piece of art. And this isn't just theory. It's history. Think of the men who changed the world. They weren't passionless, they were precise. Their desires didn't dominate them. Their desires fueled them. Washington, Tesla, Lincoln, Edison, these weren't monks. They were men of vision who saw their desires as something sacred, not to be wasted, but to be refined. And if this sounds foreign, it's because our culture has trained you to be a consumer, not a creator. You're told to act on every impulse. Click here, scroll there, indulge now. But that doesn't make you free. It makes you empty. Real freedom is self-mastery. The ability to say, I feel this, but I choose something greater. That's where power lies, in discipline, in restraint, not in suppression, but in transformation. Freud called it sublimation, the process of taking primal urges and refining them into higher actions. Without it, he said, society would collapse. There would be no music, no science, no beauty, no progress, because it all begins with that same raw spark, the same inner flame, the same energy you've been taught to waste. Sublimation is not denying yourself, it's building yourself. Every urge you feel is energy, and energy is neutral. You decide what to do with it. You can waste it on pixels and cheap thrills, or you can mold it into your future. This is where your greatness begins, not in a book, not in a video, but in the moment you feel that desire. And instead of giving in, you stand up and use it. You write, you build, you train, you lead, you create something that echoes. That's the power of sexual energy, transmuted. And it's not just for monks and mystics. It's for men on a mission. It's for anyone ready to take control of their destiny. So how do you begin? First, you notice the urge. You don't suppress it. You don't shame it. You recognize it for what it is. Then you ask, where can I put this? What needs my energy right now? What am I building that's more important than this craving? And then you act, even small actions, writing a paragraph, doing the reps, recording that idea. They all matter. They're how momentum is built, how habits are formed, how power is claimed. The world doesn't need more men numbing themselves. It needs men who have fire in their eyes, and vision in their hearts. You don't need to be celibate, you don't need to be perfect, but you do need to be intentional. This force inside you can create life. Don't waste it chasing death in digital form. Use it, sharpen it, aim it, let your hunger drive you higher. Let your cravings become your compass. Let your tension birth your transformation. You are not weak for feeling desire. You are powerful because you feel it. But power without direction is chaos, and power with purpose is unstoppable. This is your choice and your moment. Master the fire or be mastered by it. The world will feel the difference either way. Semen retention isn't about suppression. It's not about shame or guilt. It's about understanding how your biology affects your psychology and using that knowledge to your advantage. For centuries, ancient traditions knew what modern science is only beginning to catch up to. That sexual energy, when held and redirected, becomes power. The yogas of India, the Taoists of China, even the warriors of Sparta understood this. They practiced restraint not because they feared pleasure, but because they respected power. You are constantly generating energy. Your body is a powerhouse of hormones, minerals, fluids, and life force. But if you constantly release without purpose, your system never has a chance to rebuild. You never store the pressure long enough to use it as a weapon. Think of it like steam building in a pressure chamber. If you keep opening the valve every few hours, the chamber never fills. It never has enough force to move the engine forward. But if you seal it, if you let the energy rise, what you feel is momentum. And your drive returns, your clarity sharpens. You stop thinking like a passive observer, and you start moving like a creator. That's what semen retention unlocks. Not magic. Momentum. Your semen contains your best nutrients. Zinc, magnesium, selenium, trace elements your body uses for brain function, mood regulation, and immune strength. When you retain, your body begins to reabsorb and recycle that energy. It recharges your system. That's why men who practice retention report clearer skin, deeper voices, more energy, better sleep, and a stronger presence. But the biggest shift happens in the mind. Something clicks. You stop being pulled around by urges. You start thinking long term. Your habits shift. You walk into a room and people feel something different in you, not because you're faking confidence, but because you're holding power. Retention is not abstinence. It's not fear. It's not anti-sex. It's pro-self, pro-vision. It's about choosing when and how you release, not being ruled by urges or screens or boredom. And here's the truth. In the beginning, it's hard. You're going against years of habit, years of conditioning, but the longer you go, the clearer you see. Your mind calms down. You get less reactive. You stop chasing and you start attracting. You begin to notice the little details, your thoughts, your breath, your surroundings. You become more present. That presence is powerful. It's magnetic. People don't know what it is, but they feel it. Something about you feels grounded, in control, not desperate. That energy, that discipline, it speaks louder than words. And what happens when you combine retention with purpose? With a business, a craft, a mission, you become a weapon. You wake up earlier, you move differently, you think bigger, you start seeing opportunity where others see noise. You speak with weight, you walk with direction. That's the path of the retained man, not one of repression, but of rising. And here's what they won't tell you. The modern world profits when you release. Every click, every ad, every algorithm is designed to trigger you, to teal your attention, to weaken your will, because a man chasing pleasure is easier to control than a man focused on his vision. That's why retention is a rebellion. It's a quiet revolution that starts in the body and radiates into your life. The man who can go 30 days, 60 days, 90 days without leaking his power on a screen. That man is rare. And in today's world, rare is valuable. But don't take this as a challenge to be perfect. You will fall. You will have urges. You will slip. That doesn't make you weak. It makes you real. What matters is how you respond. Do you spiral, or do you reset, refocus, and rise again? This journey is not about streaks, it's about standards. You don't do retention to count days, you do it to reclaim direction. So ask yourself, who are you without distraction? Who are you without constant gratification? Who are you when your energy is yours to keep? That man, the one who holds his fire, is a threat not to others, but to mediocrity, to weakness, to the life you used to settle for. You want real change. Stop giving away your power. Start building pressure. Let the desire rise. Let it burn. Then aim it, take the edge, and pour it into your work, into your discipline, into your craft. Let every urge become a tool. Let every temptation sharpen your focus. You are not your urges. You are not your past. You are not what you've wasted. You are what you do next. And what you do next, that's where the transformation begins. Thank you for listening. If you found this helpful, subscribe to the channel. Join the true Avalon family.